Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm in what today's got to be one of one of the best days of the year for me, easily. I've just received from Randy Roach a couple of the books, Volume 1 and Volume 3 actually. I'm still waiting for Volume 2 to come in the mail. Muscle, Smoke and Mirrors. Can you believe it? I can't believe I still haven't read this book, and it's been a long time coming, but I finally decided to read Muscle, Smoke and Mirrors. And I mean, that first book, when it hit the shelves, it is just, people just went nuts over this book. It is probably one of the greatest books on bodybuilding and the history of bodybuilding ever written. And I just had a quick flick through it because I just got it in the mail today. I was been asking my wife all week, has my book arrived, has my book arrived? And lo and behold, it finally arrived today. Now, you know, having a quick flick through the book, I realized one very important thing, and that is that Randy's research is impeccable. At the back, he actually gives a full list of every single book and article that he referenced, and even interviews, of course, with the tens or hundreds of people of the bodybuilding world. For example, you can see he interview with Ruben Weaver, interview this, and then Harry Smith, and different books and articles. But so the research is incredible, the amount of research that went into these books. And understand that Randy Roach can't see properly, so that's even more incredible. The author, Randy Roach, he's just, the work he's done being disabled is incredible. Now, the contents are pretty amazing. I'll just go through the contents. It really does go through the full history of bodybuilding. I mean, the first part is physical culture, the origins of physical culture, the 20th century. So we're talking about the strongmen, etc. Physical culture in the world of health. And so I'm assuming that within this chapter we're going to find information on the greats, such as Sandow, such as the person who I'm reading about now. Oh, the name escapes me. What's his name? Oh, it'll come back anyway. So we've got all these great names in the 1900s, nutrition, disease, dietary templates, etc. The Iron Game follows after that, and basically we're talking about the Bronze and Silver era in these first two parts of the book. And after that we've got basically the 50s and 60s, the end of the Silver era and the beginning of the Golden era. And what I find most fascinating, that was his name, Bernard McFadden, is talked about in the beginnings, as in the origins of physical culture in the first chapter. What I find amazing about this book is that throughout the book you actually see quite a lot of the diets that were used during each period. And believe me, this is really awesome. I was not aware of this. So we've got there Eugene Sandow and probably whatever he ate, I'm not sure. I mean, as I said, I only quickly flicked through this book. Yeah, as I said, there's chapters on Bernard McFadden, and we've got Tony Sansoni. That was Charles Atlas there. You know, the beginning was at Alan Calvert, the Milo Barbell Company, George F. Jowett, John Grimmick here, Jack LaLanne. Here we go. Here we've got Tony Sansoni, one of the most perfect developed men in the world back then. More diets. Truly the history of the Iron Game is found within. Joe Wader and the start of the IFBB. These problems with Bob Hoffman. More diets. There's also lots of information on of course Vince Gironda, Rio Blair. All of this stuff is in here. I mean, especially when we get to miracle food, high protein, and all this stuff. The 50s, especially here in the 50s. Here we have more like shakes and all this stuff. Raw, the start of the raw eggs in diets. Yeah, I mean, there's just so much information. There's routines galore as well. Lots of routines. And eventually, the birth of steroids, of course. The birth of steroids is also covered in here in the mid-60s, right? There's chapters on it in here. I haven't even read it, but here we go. Old school bodybuilding nutrition. That's what I meant earlier. There's chapters on this kind of information. Bruce Randall's workouts and diets. I mean, damn, you know, this guy was huge. He was like 400 pounds and he dropped down to become, I think, Mr. Universe. And yeah, here we go. The pink, white, blue, and the red. And we're talking about pills, of course. Dianabol, of course, Dianabol, and the beginnings of steroid use in the late 50s and early 60s, with of course Dr. Ziegler developing Dianabol. It's all in here, and I'm going to obviously read all this and hope to again dispel the myths with some real facts here. Yeah, I mean, this book it's about 600 pages long. Randy Roach, from what I understand, has his website called Muscle, Smoke and Mirrors, where these books are available, and you can find them online. I think the first book is available for a little bit over $50, either 50 or 60 bucks, and it's 600 pages, so I think it's well worth the read. Anyone that is interested in the history of bodybuilding, especially nutrition, the routines that were really used back then, and I'm all about that information, as you know from my channel, I would highly recommend purchasing this book. I haven't read it yet, but I just know it is so good. It is just awesome. I mean, look at the thickness. It's like a Bible, for God's sake. It's so damn huge, right? It's fantastic. I can't wait. I'm literally going to start reading it tonight. I'm probably not going to drop it. It's just a fantastic book. Subsequently, he wrote volume 2. The first one is Muscle, Smoke and Mirrors. The second one, I forget, is the Arnold years, I think it's called, something like that. Arnold and Nautilus, or Arnold and Arthur Jones, I think that's what it's called, something like that. And volume 3, of course, is the comebacks, and it's a much thinner book, I have to admit. It's only about 200 pages long. That's right, 200 pages. And of course it talks about the comebacks, the infamous 1980 and 1981 Mr. Olympia contests. As we can see, they've called it Judgment Day, judging the judgment, a comeback for the comeback, because then Franco came. And yeah, basically it even compares photos of the bodybuilders, of the competitors in 1980 and 1981, and the scorecards. It's all here, photographs, the works. I mean, you know, it's all there, interview after interview. These books, I mean, they are just really worth it. This one's only, from what I remember, 20 or 30 bucks. Yeah, 20 or 30 bucks. Come on, man. It's a cheap book, and it's got everything in regards to the history of yeah, literally the end of the golden era, right? I call that the end of the golden era, because to me, after the 80s, it was all over. Yeah, so again, got these in the mail today. That's what I wanted to show you. What's in the mail? What's in the mail? Muscle, Smoke and Mirrors is in the mail, written by Randy Roach, and I am absolutely stoked. I cannot wait to get into these books. And of course, I will give you my review and share some of the information. I'm already actually speaking to Tamas, who's Randy Roach's friend, his literal sidekick, as he calls himself. We've been chatting quite a bit, and yeah, some exciting times ahead in this channel. I can state that right now. Some pretty cool stuff coming up. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this quick look at Muscle, Smoke and Mirrors. Again, just to recap, it has the history of physical culture from the Bronze Era, Silver Era, and the early Golden Era, all the way from, we're talking Charles Atlas, Eugene Sandow, you know, Alan Calvert and the Milo Barbell Company, the York Barbell Company, Wader and the IFBB. You know, we're talking about nutrition from the Bronze and Silver Era, the routines back then, and of course how everything changed with the onset of steroids. It's all in this first book. So hope you've enjoyed this quick look. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Leave me your comments, and thank you for watching. If you'd like to support my work, please donate via PayPal, or you can become a patron on my Patreon account, www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm. You can also purchase old school courses and books on bodybuilding on my website, www.goldenerabookworm.com. And of course, you can contact me if you'd like to purchase duplicates of my magazines. I've got many of them if you're interested in starting your own collection, Or if you'd like to get rid of your collection of books and magazines, you can also help me, and in that way donate your books and magazines that you don't want, because it always adds to my collection and my knowledge. Anyway, that's it for me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now.